Okay, so now let's talk about the overview of the course organization. So how the content is organized and how you'll kind of be experiencing it throughout the semester. The course starts out with a focus on creating the context for content learning. By this, I mean that we focus on giving students a reason to learn the content we're trying to teach them and the materials that will help them engage. If students don't have a purpose for learning and an interest in what we're presenting to them, they won't be interested, motivated, or engaged, and we all know what happens then because we experience it ourselves, right? Occasionally. Once we have a good understanding of how to create a context for their learning, then we'll dig into understanding how to teach our students the actual content, such as vocabulary and information or ideas. This is when we turn our attention to reading comprehension and figure out how to help our students learn from the variety of materials we use to teach the content. These first two parts make up the majority of the course. Finally, toward the end of the course, we focus on evaluating our students' learning, although we do discuss ways of assessing students' understanding throughout the course here and there as well. Okay, to accomplish all of this, I've broken up the course into 7 modules, each with 1 to 3 topics in it. You'll do one module each week, or like each 13 days is kind of how it breaks up, but which you can see laid out in the syllabus course calendar. Now, when you look at the topics across the course calendar, it may seem that some are in a slightly odd order, or they're not grouped necessarily all together. I've thought very carefully about what you need to learn when, so that you have what you need to complete the assignments throughout the course, which does result in a little hopping around here and there, but I promise it will all connect in the end. So after our first seated class, you'll get started with Module 1 online. As I said, there are 7 modules in the course. Not all are created equal, though. In other words, some will have a lot of materials for you to work through and posts and things you'll need to do, whereas others, there won't be as much reading, and you will instead be spending more time working on assignments where you're applying what you're learning. So Module 1 sets the stage for you to start developing your ideas for your themed unit, which is the major focus of this class in terms of assignments. I'll explain more about that in another slide coming up. In Module 2, you'll learn about how to tie your unit together with essential questions and develop a clear understanding of how to evaluate texts. This will help you select various texts, and actually text in this class is very broad, and I'm replacing it really with media, and you'll learn more about that later. But we'll help you select various texts or media for your unit, and you'll be able to clearly understand how to make certain materials work for your students. You'll also learn about rubrics in this module so that you can design your own for the major project of your unit that your students will create. By learning about rubrics and making the rubric for the student's project up front, it'll help you plan lots of other parts of your unit. It's kind of like backwards planning. Module 3 is completely focused on vocabulary, which is a tremendous part of students' learning in the content areas. We'll be thinking about how to figure out which words to teach, why we need to teach them in particular ways, and we'll delve into the research on vocabulary instruction to understand how to teach these words so that students can actually remember them and use them. Modules 4 and 5 are where we'll get into comprehension. We'll start by unpacking what it means to comprehend and all the many things your brain is doing all the time to comprehend the things that you read, listen to, and view. I find this stuff absolutely fascinating. We'll then focus in on specific evidence-based comprehension strategies and how to teach them effectively. Many of you have probably heard of or worked with, probably even taught some comprehension strategies. We're going to go much more into depth than you probably have in the past and help you refine your skills in teaching comprehension strategies effectively. We'll also get more into depth with other ways we can improve students' comprehension, such as through conversation and writing. We do touch on this throughout the entire semester, as you'll be doing this all the time, but Module 5 is where we really back up and think more deeply about about it and how to do this with students. All different ages of students, even kindergartners can do the kinds of things that we'll be talking about. Module 6 is when we look at how we can use a lot of what we've already been doing to understand how or to what extent students are understanding what they're reading, what they're viewing, or what they're listening to. I'll be sharing quite a few formative assessment tools at this stage, and we'll think about what would work well and for what purposes. Module 7 is really the closing of the course. There isn't a lot of new material. Instead, the intent here is for you to reflect on what you've learned and share all you've accomplished in this course. Reflection is at the heart of all effective teachers. It is the most cost-effective form of professional development that will have the most influence over your success throughout your career. So it's important that we spend some time here with this. Next, we'll go into the overview of assignments in our next video.